Last night's New York City mayoral debate wasn't just heated, it was an all-out political brawl. Sparks were flying, egos were bruised, and careers may have just gone up in flames. Far-left radical Zohran Mamdani, he strutted in like a socialist savior, and he left looking like a clueless amateur. Then came the knockout. Andrew Cuomo, of all people, torched him, exposing just how clueless Mamdani really is about the job he wants. I mean, you could not have scripted this any better. Mamdani, he tried to clap back, and he just ends up punching himself in the face politically. Meanwhile, disgraced liberal journalist Don Lemon, he's back. And this time, he's calling on Americans to fight ICE with guns. It was so outrageous that even Chris Cuomo went on live TV and blasted his former coworker. When Cuomo's the voice of reason, you know things are upside down. If you're new here, welcome to the show. Make sure you hit subscribe because the political circus, it never sleeps, and neither do we. Let's get to it. Even though socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani is projected to win, New Yorkers, they're not going down without a fight. Before the debate, protesters took to the streets furious about Mamdani's push to legalize prostitution. Even Muslim groups are rejecting his radical platform.
We are Muslims against Mamdani.
Ask us why!
Why are you against Mamdani?
First of all, do you know that Mamdani is supporting decriminalization of prostitution?
We don't want that.
No, we don't. Which is an NYC law that prostitution is not allowed.
Yeah.
And we are against it because every single religion of the world against prostitution creates morality issues. It brings a lot of disease. Do you want that?
No. That shouldn't be happening at all.
And he's defunding the police. It's the truth. So you're from New York, right?
Yeah.
As you know how much crime is going on.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have less police, do you feel safe at that time?
I don't think so.
We've got every right to be skeptical of foreigners who flood into the United States claiming they're seeking refuge, only to worm their way into our government and start dismantling the very freedoms that made America their escape hatch. These infiltrators, they're not here to embrace our Constitution. They're pushing policies to shred it, dragging us toward the same socialist cesspools they supposedly fled. And Democrats like Zohran Mamdani, they're cheering it on, cozying up to those American-hating radicals while preaching diversity? My grandma always told me, you are who you hang with. And when you've seen the company of people who are hell-bent on turning the USA into a third-world disaster, you are no patriot. So when Zohran's out campaigning with anti-American streamer Hassan Piker, the guy who literally said America deserved 9/11, that should set off every alarm bell in New York. Here's the damning photo of them fist-bumping on the campaign trail, straight from the mayoral run. This is the same Piker who mocked veteran Congressman Dan Crenshaw, war hero who lost an eye fighting terrorists while defending the terror attacks that rocked this city and killed thousands of innocent Americans.
This guy has the understanding of foreign policy of like a 12-year-old. What the f***? What the f*** is wrong with this dude? Didn't he go to war and like literally lose his eye because some mujahideen, a brave f***ing soldier, f***ed his eye hole? America deserved 9/11, dude.
Is this really the guy who should be running the largest and wealthiest city in America? The left has spent years obsessing over old photos of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, using them as political weapons. Yet when it's one of their own cozying up to extremists, they suddenly go blind? By their own standard, a photo like this should end Zohran's campaign on the spot. And honestly, so should this one.
And fresh new attacks on their opponents, Andrew Cuomo referencing this photo posted on X, picturing Zohran Mamdani next to controversial New York religious leader Imam Siraj Wahhaj.
Mr. Wahhaj was an unindicted co-conspirator in the 93 World Trade Center bombing. What is your problem with condemning terrorism? It is the easiest thing.
The New York Post has been putting out story after story of the corrupt ties that Zohran is entangled in, and you know the stories are hitting a nerve when Council on American Islamic Relations calls for a boycott of the Post for simply telling the truth. This socialist movement has brainwashed people into seeing everything through the lens of oppressor versus oppressed. It's a cult, and its followers are so blinded by grievance that they'll cheer on the destruction of America in the name of justice. Watch this Mamdani voter try to justify her support and get a quick reality check. She says she's voting for Mamdani just because of the children in Gaza.
What is the difference between these American children and the children outside of America? We are all human beings, you know?
There's no difference, but I want to answer the question, why are we treating different things differently? because you have to put the citizens of your own country first. If we don't put our own children and our own citizens first, who else is going to? You're asking the American people to put the citizens and the children of other countries first, but who's going to put our children first? Who is going to put our citizens first? So it is incumbent upon all of us to take care of our own. And America is the most charitable nation. We give more money to foreign wars and to charitable causes than any other country. So we're doing our fair share, but no one else is going to step in and put the American people first except for ourselves.
If you're more worried about people overseas than you are your own fellow Americans, go live there. The folks making these naive comments, they have no clue what life is really like under socialism or a dictator. They're so spoiled by American freedom that they can't even see it. I mean, honestly, send them abroad for a semester, they're going to come back waving the American flag, I guarantee it. But cluelessness, it seems to just be contagious in the Mamdani camp. Watch Andrew Cuomo, of all people, expose how little Zohran actually knows about government. And when Zohran tries to fire back, he only ends up making it worse. Take a look.
I understand my friend doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. The governor doesn't pick up trash. He doesn't run the fire department. That's what the mayor does. The mayor builds housing. The state allocates funding for localities. And I allocated more funding for housing than any governor in the history of the state of New York. All right? I did things. You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know how to run a government. You don't know how to handle an emergency. And you've literally never proposed a bill on anything that you're now talking about in your campaign. You had the worst attendance record in the assembly. And you gave yourselves the highest raise in the United States of America. You went from $110,000 to $140,000, and then you never showed up for work and you missed 80% of the votes. Shame on you. Shame on you.
So not only does he have a terrible work ethic, he's also so arrogant. I'm going to show you in a second. He thinks voters don't deserve straight answers. He's basically taking a page out of Kamala Harris's playbook when she was running for president. Remember when she refused to say how she would vote on Prop 36, the tough on crime policy that Californians were begging for? She acted like voters were too dumb to get her nuance.
My ballot is on its way to California, and I'm going to trust the system that it will arrive there. And I am not going to talk about the vote on that because, honestly, it's the Sunday before the election, and I don't intend to create an endorsement one way or another around it.
And how's that going for her?
Soon enough. And you know, I sometimes think about, you know what, I am not president of the United States. You want to go to the White House and talk to him? Then go on and do that.
She is still very bitter and definitely out of booze. Zohran, though, I mean, he clearly learned nothing from Mamala because he chose to play dodgeball just like she did.
There was reference to the 3 housing-related charter amendment questions. I know Mr. Cuomo is on the record as saying he favors them. We just heard Mr. Sliwa say that he's against them. Where do you stand on those?
I'm appreciative that those measures will be on the ballot and that New Yorkers will be able to cast their votes for them. I know that we desperately need to build more housing in this city, and I also know that the jobs we create in the building of that housing should be good jobs as well.
What a political answer. What is your opinion, Zoran?
Yes or no?
Come on.
Yes or no?
What is your opinion? Yes or no, Zoran?
Truth.
Don't be a politician here.
I got it. They're pointing out what I was about to answer the question.
I think on the stage you can see 2 people appealing for the Republican Party's votes.
Answer the question. Answer the question for once.
My question to you was, do you support the 3 ballot amendment questions?
I have not yet taken a position on those ballot amendment questions.
Oh, what a shocker.
All right.
What a shocker.
We're gonna move
Don't worry,
on.
once he takes it, he'll change it anyway.
Democrats think they don't have to answer to the people. They expect blind loyalty, not informed votes. But Curtis Sliwa, he's the opposite. Straight talk, no filter, and apparently no clue how to pronounce Zohran's name, which somehow makes this roast even better. Watch this.
First off, Zoran, I get a good belly laugh.
Zoran, bro.
Oh, all right. I'll keep practicing.
I got you.
I get a good belly laugh every time I hear you say free fare in the subways. Half the people don't pay anyway. How about fair enforcement? I'm the only one who says we have all kinds of fair programs for the indigent and the poor. But if you don't pay your fare, there needs to be enforcement. And by the way, I've taken the subway almost every day of my life since I was 5. The worst time was the summer of 2017, the summer of hell, Andrew Cuomo,
right,
when
Curtis.
you were running the subway system as the head of the MTA. I don't trust you with anything to do with mass transit.
Sliwa says the answer is more cops. Mamdani says the answer is more therapists. Now, only one of those actually stops crime, and it's not the one with a couch and a clipboard.
In 2020, the response time for those officers was less than 11 minutes. Today, it's closer to 16 minutes. And that's because every year they are now responding to 200,000 mental health calls, when those are calls that could by and large be taken by experts trained on responding to that very crisis.
Representative Dan Goldman, who rarely falls out of line with Democrats, says he's very concerned about Zohran Mamdani's policies. Here's what he told CNN when he was asked if he was ready to endorse the socialist.
I am very concerned about some of the rhetoric coming from Zohran Mamdani, and I can tell you as a Jew in New York who was in Israel on October 7th, I and many other people are legitimately scared because there has been violence in the name of anti-Israel and anti-Zionism.
With Election Day less than 2 weeks away, New York is on edge, and we'll see if that debate moved the needle at all. But one thing is for sure, Zohran's radical agenda is finally getting exposed. And according to Don Lemon, Black voters don't even have a choice. He says any Black American who votes MAGA is basically an idiot because nothing says unity like insulting millions of people who think for themselves.
It's the same thing that when I see not all Black Republicans, but when I see a Black MAGA person who is carrying Donald Trump's water and they know that he's lying, it is the shortest line to the front. Because if you're Black and you're whatever, you're just in line with a bunch of other Democrats that are doing the same thing that you're doing. But if you become a Black MAGA person, it's like, whoa, let's book this person, let's put him on television.
So you don't think you can be a sincere Black MAGA person?
No, I just said, I don't think that, I just said, I think there can be sincere Republicans.
But you can't be a sincere Black Republican?
I don't think that you can be a rational MAGA, be Black and be a rational MAGA person. I think you can be Black and be a Republican.
I think they would find that very insulting.
Well, I mean, the truth is often insulting.
Maybe Don should have just stopped after he said, I don't think. Would have been a more accurate statement. And since when has he ever been the poster child for rational? I'm pretty sure never. Now, I was reading through the responses to this clip on X, and this one by Dr. Dina McMillan caught my attention. She wrote, quote, I'm Black and a rational MAGA person. It was learning about human behavior, influence mechanisms, and watching the Democrat Party manipulate people that turned me away. I went first to the Republicans and then to MAGA. I'm a social psychologist with both a master's degree and doctorate from Stanford University. The Democrats want to keep Black people ignorant, entitled, and perceiving themselves as victims. No. I mean, exactly. It's disgusting. Democrats march into Black communities preaching equity, then leave behind crime, poverty, and broken schools. They've run these cities for decades, and what has changed? Nothing, other than more drugs, more gangs, and more empty promises. They throw crumbs, and then they'd expect eternal loyalty. And now, when Republicans actually try to fix the mess, Don Lemon tells people to arm themselves against ICE, the very people that are trying to get rid of the crime on the streets. What he says is so bad that it forces Chris Cuomo to go on live television and blast him over the dangerous rhetoric. I'm going to show it to you in just a second, but first, here's what Don Lemon said.
Black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for?
This is the same gun grabber, by the way, who trashed the Second Amendment for years and is now inciting shootouts with federal law enforcement. It's disgusting and dangerous. See, the left, they're just trying as hard as they can to get an ICE agent killed, and I don't think they will stop until it happens. That might not even stop them. Chris Cuomo, who's no friend of Trump's policies, he laid into his former coworker and demanded there be more outrage.
We actually have influencers right now saying, hey, go buy a gun.
And if ICE comes to your house and wants to arrest you and they're not supposed to, you'll have the weapon. It is one of the worst things I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
And I can't believe there's not more outrage over that.
Cuomo might want to extend that sermon because it's not just failed anchors that are pushing violence, it's liberal influencers too.
They are not the only ones with guns in this city. They're not the only ones, and don't forget that. And I don't say that because we're calling for violence. I'm saying that because the people have every right to defend themselves against masked, unidentified gunmen with AR-15s and other military rifles.
This is what the left does now. They try to intimidate law enforcement and justify violence, all while ICE agents are risking their lives every single day just to keep Americans safe. They're trying to prevent things like what just happened on Gavin Newsom's roads. This Indian illegal alien is now in custody after killing 3 people in a tragic crash on the freeway in Ontario. The footage I'm about to show you, it's disturbing. This guy never hit the brakes before slamming into slow-moving traffic, which caused a deadly chain reaction. Watch this.
Now take a look. This is exclusive dash cam video that is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. Shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles, one of them exploding in flames. 3 people were killed and 4 others were taken to local hospitals.
This is the second illegal to kill someone in a crash with a California driver's license in just the past couple of months. I mean, remember this illegal driving in Florida with a driver's license from, again, Gavin Newsom. He too killed 3 people. Stephen Miller, he teed off on the Democrats, whose policies are clearly the driving force behind these preventable tragedies.
3 people just died in California, killed by an illegal alien on the road, driving a semi-truck that was allowed into the country, caught and released by Joe Biden, and put on the road by Gavin Newsom. How much more blood has to be spilled by Democrats, Sean, before this madness stops?
He's right. How much more blood has to be spilled before Democrats stop putting ideology over safety? These aren't accidents. They're the direct result of open borders, weak leaders, and policies that value political points over human lives. The same politicians who preach compassion are the ones that are turning America into a dumping ground for chaos, from New York all the way to California. And when you question it, they call you racist. So here's the truth. Protecting your country, your community, and your family, that's not extreme. It's American. And no amount of media spin or woke scolding will ever change that. As always, thanks so much for watching today. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.